Hey y'all, it's me, Wanda Butler, and you are wigging out with Wanda. Okay, let's chop this up. This aqua baby blue bob is rocking. It has like a little wave pattern in it. Y'all know the hairstyle, And I like it because it's cooler than the ones I normally wear, because they're normally very long and very full, and this one is just a breath of fresh air. I love this color. It seems to be working. Got a lot of compliments on her today. Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of hairdos you're gonna get out of it, but you can pull it back over your ear. What am I showing up here? Pull it back over your ear and do this little pixie piece right here. On both sides you can do that. Anyway, you know what I'm trying to, pull it back up. And then you can show your earrings off. That happens to go with my beautiful necklace set. And yeah, no, that didn't come with it. But anyway, yeah, so this is cute. And like I said, don't be afraid of color. Don't be afraid. People will look at you, but they'll look at you because you look good. And don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead, honey. I have reached the age where if you can't get with it, get without it. Okay? Because I like it. My husband like it. You do like it, right? Anyway, but I like it, and it's really cute. I like this pattern. I'm gonna see later. I don't remember if she'll hold heat, but I'm gonna find out, and then I might be able to tighten this curl pattern up just a little bit, and which will make it just a little shorter. Yeah. So wig out, have fun. Now today, I am speaking with the pastor or spiritual leader of the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. He got a brand new book out, and he spoke awesomely today, and which I'm going to show you excerpts of the message. And it was just a good time. He said I went and sang a little song. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to pull that clip, but if I do, I'll put it in. Yeah, here we go. Reverend David Alexander. Okay. Here we go, y'all. Okay, y'all, listen here. We have done a full interview on photo. So, again, this is Reverend David Alexander. David Alexander. And we are at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta.
Ding, ding, ding.
I got it right that time. And we were just talking about Reverend's book. He has a book that he just released. Is this your first book?
It is. Okay.
Okay.
I was the contributor and visionary behind another book that I was not the editor of, but a major contributor to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a workbook on called The Lie of Whiteness. And so...
Excuse me?
The Lie of Whiteness. It uses the 12-step recovery model and applies the 12 steps to deconstructing the consciousness of whiteness.
Wow. Do I need that?
Yeah, everybody can. Listen, here's the thing. Regardless of our skin tone or how we identify, we've all been colonized by the consciousness of whiteness in our society.
This is true.
And so that's what that work is about. It is primarily for white folks or white identified folks, but truly, again, if you live in the United States of America, you've been influenced by a construct of whiteness that pervades everything. And so it's about recognizing and deconstructing that within ourselves. So kind of decolonizing our own consciousness.
Okay. And this, the book that we talked about today.
Yeah, so the new book that is out, so that's a workbook that can be found at The Lie of Whiteness. Get it, just get
There you go.
The new book, there it is on the screen.
I can't
Freedom
tell.
from Discord, The Promise of Liberation Theology is out now on Amazon, and that's my first full book. It's a book that talks about the history and origins of New Thought and the construct of liberation theology and how those go together, and how we can use that as an applied theological viewpoint towards creating a world that works for everyone.
Cool. And we also talked about, on the photo setting, we talked about the Zoom book clubs. If you want to delve deeper in and read with others that are trying to get the same understanding, you can join one of the Zoom book clubs.
That's right. Go to newthoughtaeducation.com, and the book clubs are there. They're starting this week, and you can join a little bit late, of course, if it's viewing later. And they're all by Zoom. There'll be some in person if you're here in the Atlanta area, but we have 85 people right now, and we expect it to be over 100 people across the country. People in Oakland and Albuquerque, New Mexico, and
I'm
Texas.
from Oakland.
All right, Oakland. And so just all over the place joining in. And so you can find a Zoom that people are hosting in different time zones. And so hopefully something of those will work for you. And it's all in there, including at our lunch party, Pulitzer Prize winning poet Jericho Brown did a great interview with me and asked some great questions, about 45 minutes or so. And we have taken the clip of that from the launch event and put that in the New Thought Education so everybody can watch that, and it's a great way to get oriented to the book and some deeper questions.
All right. Now, we learned today that the website has also been updated.
Yeah, slca.com is all brand new, and it functions well, and all the links work. Amen. Praise the Lord, somebody. And it doesn't say things from 2019 anymore. You know, sometimes we get just so used to going to Facebook or something else for our information, but our website was way overdue for an overhaul. So it's been done and it is launched, and we're really, really happy about it.
Cool. Okay, y'all see my hand is shaking. Uh-oh.
You want me to hold it for a while?
There you
Here,
go.
I'll take a turn.
Okay. Oh, all right. So,
So anyway,
right. Have your way, Reverend. Have your way. We also talked about the Christ. It's not Christ consciousness anymore, but there's a convention coming up in October.
right. So that's October 3rd through the 6th. That's with Bishop D.E. Paulk. This is what 20 years ago was called the Communion of Christ Consciousness, has now been, or is being rebranded as the International Communion of Expanded Consciousness. So going from Christ consciousness to expanded consciousness. So tents open on all sides to welcome everybody from every background and faith tradition into an expanded awareness of that consciousness that is moving through all life and all creation, and celebrating that through music and worship and theological study of our faith traditions and everything in between. So it's going to be amazing.
I'm sure it is. Now, I understand that Reverend Adrian Moore, I guess in working with maybe Brandy Polk and Clarice Polk to create a musical choir situation. So go on the website as well, or maybe I can get that information and scroll it across the bottom of the screen if you want to be a part of that. That choral situation is going on. I'll get you the information and you can be a part of that. Now I'm sitting up here wondering, I got ordained my third ordination under Christ consciousness. So does that mean I have to come and get rebranded?
I'm going to be serving on Bishop Polk's council.
Okay.
But I tell you what, I'm going to have to leave that one for the
You
bishop.
leave that for the bishop. I'm going to have to call him and ask.
You're going to have to call the bishop and see what is up with that one.
All right. Well, I want to thank you. Anything you want to say to the people?
love you. Love this woman. Love her work and her message and her voice. And so if you love her, then I love you. That's just the way that is, because that's how love and inclusion works. And so happy to be here.
So normally, y'all know what time it is. It's time to wig out. But of course, I didn't bring a wig for the Reverend, and I don't even think I would put him in that position.
Oh, well,
but,
I need
you
something. I need some help up in here.
Maybe next time.
Listen, I'm experienced. I have to wear my wife's wigs on occasion when she needs to comb them out. She'd be,
She put them on.
Yeah, she'd be like, I need a head to put this on. Come here.
That's
I
hilarious.
said, can't you get one of them foam things? She goes, what do I need to do that for? I got you.
I got you.
Sit down. Sit down right here.
No, honey, I think I only got my husband to put a wig on one time. He don't play. He don't play. But now, he's thinning a little bit, and I've been trying to get him to, do a little sprinkle, a little color, a little. No, he ain't having it.
He ain't having it.
He ain't having it. So, but it's all good. Still a handsome man.
Amen. Amen.
Like the Reverend
Amen.
here. So, just all natural.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Love you. And hope you enjoyed the message, because I have sprinkled them all through here. And we will see y'all later on Wigging Out with Wanda.
All right.
Boo-boo.
So I take that responsibility as a father. That creation then is empowered to do what it's going to do. And ultimately, in its journey of teenagehood, and trials and tribulations, and finding their own way, and doing all their thing, eventually, right, they get to a place where they realize that some part of them represents where they came from. Oh, y'all don't hear me. Y'all don't get it yet. Some part of them understands that their work is to represent where they came from. Mm-hmm. They do it in their own unique way. They do it in their own self-empowered way. They're responsible for their own creation. They're independent beings, all of that. But somewhere inside of them, they understand that who they are as a being, as a physical carbon structure even, represents where they came from. And that regardless of how they feel about that, like that, don't like that, have a strong understanding of it or not, that they can't escape it. Now I'm talking to somebody, right? That you look in the mirror and you see it, and you're like, dang. Right? And some of us go through a period where we're younger and we look like our mother, but then at some point, at some age, you turn around and you go, whoa, where'd my father come from? Hey, whoa, wait a second. I thought I was delivered from that. But how did that happen? How did I get a crick in my head and walk just like him? Some of you don't know. Today, I'm asking us to take responsibility to show up as its creation, as the creation of that Father Divine Presence. Because we have a story, and that story is about who and whose we are in the world. And often that story is no longer serving us. The story is broken. The story is filled with tragedy and this and that and not enoughness and all of these different things, not just individually, because that may or may not be true for you as an individual, but as society. The collective story, for the large part, is broken. And here's the thing about that story, and I know this because this is reflective of my own story with my birth father. When we deny the story, it defines us. Woo. But when we own the story, we can write a brave new ending. When you own the story, when you say, yeah, I come from that place. That's where I come from. That is my origin story. And now, whether it's good or bad or positive or negative or filled with trauma or filled with blessings or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Now that I know that that's where I've come from, here's where I'm going. Mm-hmm. Here's the brave new chapter that I'm writing. Here's the piece that's coming through me. Yes? Yeah. And it's only through our taking accountability that we can fix what needs to be fixed. And there are a lot of things that need to be fixed. And dads are, at least supposed to be anyway, in the archetype and in the stories that we tell, are supposed to be good at fixing things, right? Y'all remember my favorite movie of all time. Now, and I'll be honest, I'll tell you this. In my house, it's my wife. She's the fixer. And she's the fixer because she watched her dad. And her dad could fix anything. And I didn't do that. So I would just leave it at that. But now my favorite movie of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. I know it's June, it's nowhere near Christmas time, but that's my favorite movie. It's a Wonderful Life, Jimmy Stewart. And you remember George Bailey. You remember George Bailey when he's upset and there's all kind of stress going on in his life, and he goes upstairs because Zuzu is sick and she's laying in bed and she gets all upset because the petals start falling off the rose or the flower that she got at school. Remember that? And she hands it and she says, "Fix it, Daddy." Just like that. I watched that movie so many times. "Fix it, Daddy." And he takes it and he turns, and the petals that have fallen off, he puts it and of course Jimmy Stewart's such a great face character actor, right? It shows some bias here on my point, but when movies were great because they were about the facial expressions of the actor, not about CGI and graphics and all of that kind of stuff. But it was like you could watch somebody's micro expressions, and so he has this whole thing kind of go across his face there in just a few seconds, which is like, what the heck am I going to do? Petals fell off the flower. There ain't nothing I can do. But my baby's sick and she feels bad and I need to do something about it. So he turns to where she can't see and takes the petals that have fallen off, tucks them in that little corner, which we don't even have on our pants anymore. They don't even put that on our dress pants anymore. Remember that pocket right there? It's your change or something supposed to go in. Zuzu petal
pocket watch.
That's what I call it when I was going in. And he puts the petals right in there and then turns back to her and the flower's all better. Right? Dads fix things, or that masculine energy within us fix things by taking ownership of the problem, whether we had any role in the breakdown or not.
So why he all up in my family business? Yes, I know that is so prevalent in my life. You came from holiness. You came from a Pentecost. Why are you over there? What are you talking about? What are you doing? The man is on to something. Let's go back.
Finding a solution. We all have this energy in us. I used to tell the story, and still do, but the story of moving into our first house in Oregon City, and it was filled with blackberry bushes in the backyard, and when I was overwhelmed and frustrated trying to clean them out and get ready for our wedding day that we were going to do in our backyard, and blackberries are notorious to get rid of, especially in Oregon, because they don't die in the wintertime. They just keep growing and getting stronger, and they're really a menace. And we bought a house that had been abandoned for 2 years, and so the blackberry bushes were everywhere, including in the house. They had broken into one of the windows, and they was about to take over the whole dang thing. And there was a beautiful cement patio that I didn't even know existed when we bought the house. It's like, oh, that's there, cool. Then get all that dirt and blackberry bushes out. But the backyard, which was, about as big as this room here, and wrapped around the house because we were in a cul-de-sac, was filled, and every inch of that yard had to be turned over, and the roots had to be taken out, because you couldn't just burn them or cut them down. You had to get rid of every last piece of evidence of them. Otherwise, they'd just grow back. And so I was out there tending to them. I broke, I don't know how many rakes and hoes and shovels, trying to dig them out and lay out big tarps and someday ask me for the photos. It's really dramatic. And one day I'm just so tired. I'm out there just doing it again. Just my feet hurt, my hands are blistered. I've been going at it for days on end. And I just stood and kind of rested on the shovel for a minute. And I just said, you know what? I didn't put these here. I didn't plant these blackberry bushes, right? I didn't. The people who own this house before, they should have taken care. It's not my fault, right? I didn't have any part of this. I never owned blackberry bushes. And I heard this voice, and the voice said, "Yeah, but it's your house now." And I ended up relating that to the work that I do in race relations and ministry and the things that we have to wrestle with at large in this country. Is to say that, you know, we might be in that space where we say, I didn't put that in place, my ancestors didn't own slaves, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, well, who cares? The condition is what it is now. And things aren't fixed yet, and there's still work to be done, and there's still healing to be done, and it's your yard now. You got a wedding coming up. Do you want it to be pretty, or do you want to be filled with blackberry bushes? But if you want to clean it up, you're going to have to pick up a shovel, pick up a hoe, pick up a rake, pick up something, and dig down and get them by the roots. There's no other way. You're just going to have to take responsibility for that. I'm sorry. Right? And so we have to remember that power to take responsibility, to birth brave new endings, become accountable to ourselves, to show up and write a new story, one that is anchored in compassion and remembrance of our connection with each other, one that uplifts and celebrates each other rather than competes and destroys. In order to write a brave new story, we have to know who we are. We have to know that we belong to the universe in which we live, that we were born worthy and capable of every good thing. We have to know that from our core. And so we must do work, whether it's spiritual work or therapy work or counseling work, or whatever it is, to get to that place where we know that. Well, we absolutely know that. And I know who I am. I know that I belong here. I know that I'm born worthy and capable of every good thing and every desire that comes into my heart. And to know whose you are. That you belong to the people around you. That you belong to not just the universe in which you live, but you belong to the community in which you live. You belong to the country and the space and the land and the trees and the birds and the water and the atmosphere in which you live. And to be held accountable to the collective story that we are creating.
So, being responsible, we are to be spiritually responsible and then represent where we came from. Even though we're stepping outside of that, we grow. We grow in that. We grow in understanding. We grow in knowledge. We expand. Yeah, we expand our consciousness, and then we can go further. We can understand more of what God is, or what divine power is, what divinity is, what is the divine spirit, all of those, the source, all of those, all of those tags that we love. Well, we put on spirituality so that we understand it more, or other people can understand what we're trying to say. But it's no harm in growing. Just grow. Yes. Speak, Reverend Alexander. Oh, speak.
Suddenly I stumbled across some information where I only had my father's name and date of birth and a few other details, and finally kind of got some hits and some information and discovered where he was living. And so I made a decision, this was a number of years ago, to write him a letter. And I had done all of this healing work, I'd done all this forgiveness work, and so I really came from this really, as best I could at that time, a pure place. And I wrote him a letter and I said, this is not about where were you, this is not about, I'm not asking for money, I'm not asking for anything that you didn't provide. I'm just saying, here I am. I know your address now, and now you know my address. And if you want to have a relationship, connection, something, I'm doing very well. Here's what I'm doing. I'm in ministry and yada yada, all this stuff. And so it's all good. And I just thought maybe you'd want to know. And I sent it, and I did it with a lot of practitioners and people holding me in consciousness to know that I could not be attached to the outcome, that whatever happened is whatever would happen, and who knows what the reaction would be, etc.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? There was so much wisdom in that, so much juice in that. Come on, let's squeeze them for some more. Here we go. Ooh!
And he didn't write me back. His wife wrote me back and had basically regurgitated all the story, whatever he had told her, and she was obviously defending him. And so my wife started attacking my mother, and, saying, well, this is the blame, the blah, 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 the situation is why, and all this stuff. And I was like, I really don't want to get into any of that, like none of that's, it's all under the bridge, like I really don't care. But okay, I really want to know some stuff about family and medical history and that sort of thing, and just to know that he's well, etc. And so a few more letters came back and forth, always through his wife. And he could never let go of the pain. And 2 years later, he died.
Wow.
And so we never really did talk, except through those letters with his wife. But it's a great example of what I'm talking about today, because I was willing to write a brand new ending. And he was stuck on the old ending that had been written 20, 30 years before. And he couldn't let it go. Right? So the choice is ours. The power is always in our hands to write brand new endings or not.
Now, wasn't that amazing? That was an amazing word. Good for your life, good for your spirit. Yeah, just go and get the book. The book is on Amazon, as it said in the clip. Go and get it, and maybe join one of those book club sessions. They have Zoom, and then they have in person, where they're going to go through the book and break it down and get a greater understanding of it. So I encourage you to do that. If you have the time and the wherewithal to do that, go ahead and do that and just feed your spirit. Yeah, so that was a good time had. Now about that song, did the best I could. No, I didn't do the best I could, but it was cute. It was cute singing with Al and the other singers. It's a cute presentation over there. And so I go. When they ask me to come, I go. And it's always a good time had. All right. And also look into that their new website and or the updated website, and then look out for that conference that's coming up in October. That is going to be something awesome. And musically, Reverend Adrian Moore from Baltimore, that I interviewed a few weeks ago, he is in charge of putting a choir together of all of the New Thought ministries or people interested in singing, in a New Thought choir. Or it's not really New Thought. What is it? What did they say it was? Independent inclusion, something or other. I'll get it right. It'll be down at the bottom of the screen. Whatever I'm trying to say, it'll be down there. But they are having Zoom rehearsals, so you have plenty of time, because it's not until October, but they will be doing rehearsals via Zoom up until then. But that's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Bishop D.E. Polk is going to be the facilitator of that, and he's the founder of it. We said in the clip what the name of it was, because I don't hold on much long, but I'm sure it's at the bottom of the screen. All right, y'all. As always, always remember to love yourself. Yes, Love yourself. You would be amazed at the number of people who don't love themselves because they don't understand that they can, and that it's not up to somebody else to love you. It's up to you to love you. And then that love will exude from your essence and touch other people. And then they will love you back. But you have to love yourself. Remember to love yourself. Because when you love yourself, you will find yourself. And once you have found yourself, you will figure out that you have found God. Oh yeah, you have found God. So always love you first. And then, what is that scripture? Love begins at home and then spreads abroad. Yeah, we missed that. All of that we missed. Because you know what we heard? Love your neighbor as yourself. And because the word neighbor comes before self, we understand it to mean love your neighbor before you love yourself. It doesn't work like that. There's no love in you for you. You cannot successfully love anyone else. So love yourself. And then you can love your neighbor. Oh yeah. Love starts at home. Here, and then spreads abroad. So spread love. Da da da. All right. Love you guys. Bye bye.